Hey guys, we are in the Escalade headed out to the property, one of our properties here, to do some more property work today. And I want to go over something very quickly. Okay, you guys have probably noticed, those of you that have stuck around, in the last month or two now, I've done a huge change up in content style. I still do some truck stuff. I still do, whatever else that I used to always just only film, either diesel or diesel related topics. But you've probably noticed in the last month or two that my content has kind of changed in the direction that I'm going, and I want to explain that real quick. Don't have to explain myself, but I just want you guys to understand that this is the new way that I'm going with my content, so you guys understand. For the last 6 years I've been doing YouTube. For the first 2 years I was filming for an outdoors channel. In the 2 years that I was filming for that channel, I made $1,200, but I loved it. You know why? Because I filmed everything that I wanted to film. But I did not know how to monetize my platform with like merch or affiliate marketing or anything, or sponsorships. I didn't do any of that. So that was just YouTube revenue, $1,200 in 2 years. But I was the happiest I ever was in terms of what I had done up to that point with anything for work, because I was like, I still have to go work a job and I still have to do lawn care on the side, but whenever I get a chance to film, I'm just filming whatever I want to do because that's what gets me excited, and I'm just gonna film that. And so it was fun. But then I did LMP and I thought, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I like trucks and I'm gonna commit to only trucks because that's probably the only way my channel is gonna grow and be a successful channel, is if I stick to one type of content and I only do that type of content, and that'll be the way to go. Because that's what I heard from some other YouTubers that I watched on how to grow a successful YouTube channel and whatever, and they were talking about committing to a topic if you want to have the best success rate, the most consistent views, and all this other stuff. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I'm going to do that. But let me tell you where I went wrong with that. I am not a person that only has one thing they enjoy, and I know that most of you are just like that. You might love trucks, but then again, on the weekends, you're out on the lake, in deer season or turkey season or whatever game you hunt, you're out hunting on the weekend or whatever days you have off. So, there's more to you than your vehicle that you drive or the vehicles that you drive. So, I kind of had this moment where I thought, I can't come up with a video idea today. And it was kind of like, I want to go to the property, I want to do stuff. And this is a few months back. This is a while back when I wasn't really filming property videos. I was pretty much only doing truck stuff. I thought, but why am I doing it if it's not what truly makes me feel fulfilled? Because you've only got one life. It's a relatively short one. Keep that in mind. So why would you spend any of it doing something you truly don't love or you truly aren't passionate about? With that being said, I had a moment where I thought, well, this might sacrifice my views. This might sacrifice, some of the stuff with my social media, but I'm gonna have to almost like redefine who I am as a creator, go from the drawing board and almost start from scratch. It's almost like I'm restarting by creating content that's pretty much everything about me and who I am. And my content is just gonna be all around that, all the things that I love to do, all the things that make me feel fulfilled and all the things that I love. That's what I'm gonna be filming from now on. So in the last 2 months, a lot of people have made comments like, oh, your views are going down, oh, your channel's dead, oh, what are you doing? Oh, stick to trucks, that's my opinion, you shouldn't leave trucks or your views are gonna go down. But what's the freaking point of filming if you're not happy with what you're filming? Because you feel like you have to do it instead of being like, you know what, I wanna film trucks today, then I'll film it. I wanna go do property work today, then I'll film it. But I don't wanna ever get to a point where it becomes a chore and I feel like, well, crap, I've got a bunch of property management stuff I've got to get done, because it's a goal of mine. It's not just truck stuff. I have a lot of other goals around a lot of other topics, but I can't do that today because I have to commit to the trucks because that's what my followers want to see. They don't want to see me doing anything else. But it's like, I've got to do what makes me feel fulfilled as a person. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. So I hope everybody realizes that that's what they should be doing in terms of a career. Do what makes you feel fulfilled and never push yourself to do something that is not solely who you are. Like, I love trucks. I really like trucks. Whenever I'm with my buddies, I talk about trucks constantly. But I'm also just as equally talking about deer management and what we're seeing on our cameras and how we're going to get closer to these deer next year and what's our goal and when we're going to go turkey hunting and when we're going to do this and when we're going to get out in the property and do some management work. And like, there's a lot more to me and there's a lot more to you guys than one topic. So I feel like if it makes me happy to film more than one topic, I'm going to film more than one topic. For me personally, I'd rather take way less views and be way happier with what I create than get way more views and feel like it was a chore to have to come up with that video, or is a chore to have to make myself do it that day when there's so many other things tugging at me that I really wanted to do that I have to tell myself, no, it's irresponsible to go and work on your property management. No, it's irresponsible to, you know, go hunting this weekend because you've got to film a truck video because that's what the people want to see. Says who? You know what I mean? You know, we all have a life and we have to choose what we want to do with it, and I want to do everything that makes me feel fulfilled and not just one thing exclusively, because that's not who I am. Well, we've made it back here to the location, and what we're going to be doing is creating this path from this main trail here. Where you come in on the property is actually just back here about 50-60 yards, and what I want to do is create a path that goes around the very edge of the property. There's actually a bunch of houses on this one side, and so we're going to go real close along the back side of those houses through our woods and then hug this field edge, and then we have 3 different stand locations along the back side of that field edge. And what we want though is a nice open path so we don't have to use flashlights and stuff in the morning, but I don't want it much bigger than a shoulder width or so, just big enough to where you can get through. You're not snagging on stuff if you've got a bow, crossbow on your shoulder or backpack or whatever, but I don't want it so big that you can drive an ATV on it, you know. So that's going to be the goal here. I'm going to start it in right here. I've kind of got a trail marked out here that I used last year just a little bit, but we didn't clear it out very much because we didn't bring in saws, we didn't bring in, you know, trimmers and leaf blowers and all that stuff, which I do have today. I've got a steel leaf blower, a Black & Decker battery powered saw, Black & Decker battery powered trimmer. I've got some boots, batteries, all that stuff. So we're gonna get to this, and I'm gonna show you the aftermath of this, and hopefully it turns out as good as I'm thinking it will. It's gonna take some work. I don't know if I'll get it all done today, but I'm gonna try my hardest. Well, we're at the end of the line here, so I'm gonna show you actually from where the trail ends to where it started, or close to where it started. I don't need to show you the whole length. You'll get the idea with what I show you here. So here's where it ends. You can see these are the 2 stands that I set up with Reagan and my son Marshall. A little over a week ago we set these up here, maybe a little longer than that, but we set these up here and we got these moved in position. And last year we didn't even hunt this location until very end of October, I think it was. We got in here for the first couple times, and turns out this was one of the hottest spots, and there were deer always coming out past this area right here. But all set up here, but we now have an access trail to get back here. And notice the difference in sound. Yeah, much better. So we've got a trail here, and what I did was I came through here with a saw, and as you can see, I cut up most of the down logs and trees that were in the way. And essentially I did that, and I took our trimmer and I trimmed all of the small undergrowth that was coming up strong in the area that this trail was in. That way there's not so much stuff to tangle up in, but it creates a much quieter trail to walk on if you can't notice. I mean, you can see this nice straight trail. There's a nice tree right there. It's huge. There's a really nice clean path here. You can see the deer have already been running on it since we originally cleared this off the other day. This was before we leaf blowed it. Of course we did that today, but a few days ago I came through here and I cut up all the dead logs, the big ones that were in the way. And it makes an obviously noticeable trail. And I can tell the deer have already been running it. I mean, there's tracks all over it. And then here I am. Got my hedge trimmer, which, by the way, links to this stuff are all in the description below if you guys want to check this stuff out. It's a Black & Decker hedge trimmer. It's actually, I mean, it's actually really, really nice for the deer management stuff. And this is what I use as well. It's a 20-volt Black & Decker saw. And again, these things aren't like these crazy big, powerful, you know, whatever, but they work great for this kind of stuff. So if you're wanting to pick up any of this stuff, I use the 20-volt batteries. They make a 20 and 40-volt option of both of these, but I use the 20-volt. And I have the 6 ampere-hour batteries that I don't know if it's an option from Black & Decker directly, but there's aftermarket companies that make them. And these have been great since I've had them for the last several months. And it's way worth the money, spending the extra money on the batteries that last forever versus having to bring 12 batteries out here to get the same job done. And then here is the trail right behind those saws there. Walk down the line here about 100 yards from where I started, and then we have another stand right here. And you can see I've got the trail cleared off, coming off this main trail here. That's leaf blowed off. It goes all the way along here, and it just keeps on going all the way out to where we started. It goes along the houses, all the way along, and back out to the main trail, which is just inside where the woods begin, because I want to just really hug the edge of that bunch of homes and then this field edge without penetrating into the property. That way, if I have a good north or good west wind, it'll be perfect to be able to sneak in here and not completely blow out the entire property, which leaves pretty much about an acre of ground that might get disturbed coming in if for some reason there's a deer bedded like on the trail I'm coming in on, which I'm not putting in bedding areas over here for that reason, to try to avoid bumping deer along stand entry points. But that pretty much leaves the entire property untouched. That way, you know, we're hunting the deer as they're either coming in or going out, not, you know, disregarding that and just setting up wherever we think, oh, they're going to come in from off the neighbors over here, you know, so who cares if we blow them out of our property. I don't want to hunt like that. I want to hunt from the deer coming out of my property and always hunt with that intention of the deer coming from my ground. Hunt my property and access my property always with the hopes and intentions that the deer are in on my property, and that's where I'm expecting them to come from, because why wouldn't you want to hunt that way anyway? So that's it for the trail. I might set my camera up here and I'm going to do a little bit of clearing in this spot. I'm going to hinge over some trees and trim some more limbs for this stand location right up here. I'm actually going to get up in the stand here with you guys though and show you the view. Sun's coming down, so it's going to get right in my eyes. There's all the houses back behind me here. Field, more houses, and then just field, and then it's all just woods and cropland. But let me show you the setup we got here. So right in front of me, you've got a couple of trails that come through. Right down here, there's actually 1, 2, 3 trails that come out right there. And then there's 4, 5, and then there's 6 and 7 total trails that come out of this section of woods. And so you can see the view from here. And what we've got to do is have enough shot opportunities to get a shot off either between this opening here or this opening here, because once they hit the field, they're off limits. So that's what we've got to think about, and that's what we've got to plan for. So always make sure you get up in your stands and you kind of role play before the season is even here. That way you're not wishing you coulda, shoulda, woulda done certain things for lanes or cutting certain small trees down and out of the way, etc. That's something that you got to focus on here. You don't want to do too much, because too much isn't a good thing, but you want to do enough to where you can get shots off that aren't going to be risking arrow deflection and stuff like that, because if you can't make a good shot, the whole hunt could be for nothing. So we're going to take this opening here, and what we're going to do is we're going to hinge cut over just a couple of trees here, just some small ones. We might do this one right here in front, because as soon as you stand up, you can see this one tree with this branch coming off here, this, and then here. If you're trying to get a shot off through this, any of these trails through here, it just kind of makes it tough. And then we're going to take a few of those real small trees down there, some real small saplings, and we're just going to hinge those over as well. We got all the hinge cutting done. It looks so much better, and all I had to cut was, I believe, think it was 4 or 5 trees, maybe 6, and they were all pretty darn small. Let me show you though the trail coming out of here. We walked all over this yesterday. The dog was running back and forth on it, and it's already beat down with deer tracks like crazy. So you can see here, it is just tore up from, you can see hoof prints going both directions. I mean, and you can see there's deer hair. I mean, it is just completely tore to pieces in here. I mean, it's just crazy. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me still how many deer we have on this property. I mean, it's just crazy. You can see all these fresh tracks coming out here too. I mean, there's just loads and loads of them. And you can see some going this way, see some going this way. So this is the farthest trail from the stand. And you can see right here, we now have clear shot. Again, look at all the tracks going in and tracks coming out. I mean, just unbelievable amounts of deer tracks coming in and out of here all year round. And then you can see right here there's a shot opportunity, and then right here there's another shot opportunity, and that's on the farthest trail, and that's about 35 yards I think at most. But you can see all I did was I just took some of these small trees and all I did was I took the crowns of them and I kind of dropped them into a circle. Like I just kind of like dropped them all right at each other. That way I didn't have like a bunch of crowns all fanned out all over here blocking movement that's naturally coming through here as it is. I just dropped them all on the stump right here because the deer are going to walk through the stump anyway, so might as well do it there. 5 minutes of work. Don't even know if I'd call it work, but 5 minutes of running that little saw can make a huge difference on whether or not we're able to get a shot off through here in the deer season. So very, very minimal work, very minimal invasiveness. And I definitely think you're going to be seeing us at least see a lot of deer in here in this season. But I would say there's a very good chance we're going to be killing a few in this spot too. And what's crazy is literally all 7 of these trails that come out of here in this one spot within a 30-yard stretch has fresh tracks on it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I'm actually going to show you some of my pictures. Of course, the bucks aren't growing or really holding any antler right now, but this was this morning, 8:28. I mean, as you can see, my cameras are pretty much always busy. I mean, we get tons of pictures all the time. I've got pictures down at my other property as well. I mean, of course, these are just does, but or at least they all look like does this time of year. It's just peaceful. I don't even know what it is. I mean, I feel like I even find myself like naturally when I'm out in the woods talking a little quieter than I do when I'm in the shop, because I just feel like it's like such a relaxing like feeling being out here that like you almost don't want to disturb it that much. I don't know. It's something else. I don't think I'll ever get sick of being in the woods. Fam, we are officially getting rid of the Fury MT tires. Not so sure about the wheels, but definitely getting rid of the tires themselves. They just don't ride good. I mean, they just don't. So I'm gonna take these off today, and Reagan has to be able to drive her truck. It's, you know, late spring, early summer. She's got to drive this thing. She wants to drive it. The problem is these tires now, for whatever reason, ride like crap. And to be fair, the truck did sit on these tires pretty much the entire winter, just sitting on the set of wheels and tires. And then last year, that is, this past year, half the winter, they were sitting on these wheels and tires, just sitting there, not being driven, nothing. So I don't know if the tires have some kind of weird forming, or if when she was driving it around and the front axle was all trash and out of alignment and it was all messed up, it was messing up a set of the tires. But I've put the front ones in the back and I put the back ones in the front, and I've mix match them and on and off, and on a set of stock wheels and tires where the tread's not chewed up, it rides perfectly smooth. On this set, it rides like it wants to knock your teeth out. And by the way, you know how it used to start really hard? Well, it doesn't start really hard anymore, and I don't know why, because we put a different grid heater in the truck. We took out her stock one and put in a different one, a good one, and it started the exact same as the one before that, and it just started to warm up a little bit in the last month or so, and the thing starts like a dream every single time. Just touch the key and it just fires up. So I don't know. So here's the wheel and tire set that we're going to be putting on this truck. It's a set of stocks off of a 2018 Tradesman, which was also one of Reagan's trucks that we ended up giving away, but we're going to be swapping these and putting these on the truck. That way she at least has a nice smooth setup that's street worthy to be driving on, that's not going to send an awful vibration through the entire cab of the truck, making you feel like I don't know, I would like to say like you're in a massage chair, except, you know, those types of vibrations are a little more comforting. This is just kind of obnoxious. So, you know, if you're not going very fast, it's not a big deal. You go over 55 and you feel just like this weird vibration up through the cab from these tires, and just not a fan. So we're gonna get these taken off, and we're gonna be putting these on. We might sell them, or we might at least just take them to the wheel and tire shop first and see if it needs, you know, they need a rebalance. Maybe they're missing some weights. I don't know. Just see if there's an alternative option before we decide whether or not we're gonna, you know, sell them to somebody real cheap for a different project, or if we want to just, you know, keep the wheels, sell the tires, sell the wheels and the tires. I'll see what the wife wants to do, but let's get these swapped out real quick. Back to the stocks. And hopefully not for long, but we have to figure out either what's wrong with the wheels and tires or get a new set on the way. So we'll let you know what we decide to do with that once we figure it out. But I actually think I might clean out her truck for her, give it a quick vacuum, take out all the junk that doesn't need to be in there. That way she can get in her truck and feel like she did when she first got it, just because it's always kind of a good feeling when you take a truck or a vehicle, it doesn't matter what it is, that, you know, you miss the feeling of hopping in your clean truck when you first had it and how you always kept it so clean. It was always nice, and, you know, and sometimes just that little refreshing feeling can help you re-see the vision for it. So I'm gonna try to clean this thing out real quick for her, and then when she gets back, it'll all be done. It's not trashed, but, you know, there's trash in the doors. There's some trash. There's yarn and jumper cables and hats and hoodies and shirts and towels, and we got the sub box in here. We're still waiting on the dually, which, by the way, that's why the dually, you still haven't seen it back. I completely misinterpreted what Miguel said when he said when the truck was gonna be back. I thought he meant a completely different weekend, and so we got back from vacation and I was like, yeah, so is the truck done? He's like, it'll be done next weekend. And this was on a Monday. The difference between this weekend and next weekend is, if it's a Monday and he says it'll be done this weekend, that would mean, you know, basically less than 7 days from now, coming up here, you know, the truck will be done. He said next weekend, and I completely misinterpreted that, and I thought, oh, sweet, this weekend coming up. He's like, no, dude, I said next weekend. And I'm like, whatever, it happens, communication, my bad. But the dually will be back soon. He said it's turning out great. It just needs to get finalized and it'll all be good. So let's get this all cleaned out and looking good for the wife. And just like that, clean. I even got the wheels all polished up. Not literal polishing, but I got them all cleaned up as good as I could. It was a pain in the butt to do that. Got the carpet all vacuumed out underneath, wiped down the dash, wiped down the doors, wiped down the back seat. The only stuff that I'm taking out that was not trash was this little pile of stuff, which I'm going to take it up to the house and load it. Other than that, though, everything's out of the truck. You can see the dash is all nice and wiped down. The doors are wiped down. Vacuumed everything out. And temporarily, there's the wire running to her sub box so she can use it, because I know how much she likes her bass. So she can use that in the meantime while we're waiting on the dually, because the sub box is scheduled to go up at the same time that he's got the dually up there doing the seats for that. it's about 45 minutes, and that's why I'm waiting to take it up when I get the dually up there at the same time, because it's not going to take him long to do the box, and it's not going to take him long to do the dually. So he said it'll be 2 or 3 days at most. So, you know, once we get the dually back, we're going to take the sub box and the dually up to get that done. But that's why the sub box is still in the truck the way that it looks now, is because I'm waiting to take that up until the dually's back. So I actually did end up going through and I completely detailed the truck. I did the roof, I did the bedsides, the doors, the door jambs on the inside, all that. I wiped down everything. And I know some people don't like it when people do this, but I used Dawn dish soap. I just did a little bit in a bucket, like literally like 1/4 of a 5-gallon bucket. And I just took a microfiber towel and I doused it in water with that soap. And I just wiped the whole thing down, and I didn't have to like pressure wash soap and then dry. All I did was that, and I just wringed the towel out to where there wasn't much moisture on it, but there was just enough to wipe off any dust and grime, and it made this thing shine so much. And it was just one step. All I did was mix the water and the soap and a little bit at the bottom of a bucket, and I just wiped down the whole truck, and it picked up all the grime, all the grease, and it looks freaking awesome. And here we are paying, you know, $25, $30 for some kind of special detailing soap. And I know Dawn dish soap might not be the best thing for automotive, but I mean, it turned out really, really great. I mean, I'm really, really blown away at how shiny it made this truck and how much of everything it picked up so easily. Guys, that's going to be the end of this video. If you have not done so yet, head on over to lmpgear.com, because every $1 is going to get you 5 entries towards winning our 5-speed manual dually sport. It's a 12-valve Cummins right now, but the giveaway is ending in 2 weeks. So if you haven't done so yet, get on over there, buy anything on the store, and as soon as you check out, you're automatically entered to win. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.